All right, we're about to dive into a story that's a bit of a mind bender. It's a story that starts way, way before its main character is even born. We're talking about identity, rebellion, and this powerful way history just refuses to let go of people.
And this single sentence, this is really the heart of the whole thing. It's a total paradox, right? A puzzle that seems, well, impossible. How can your life start a full 50 years before you even begin to exist? The answer, as you might guess, is buried deep in a family's past. And it's a past defined by fallen empires and just incredible tragedy.
So, whose life is this? Well, it belongs to a man our narrator just happened to stumble upon completely by chance, way back in 1976. And what started as this weird moment of recognition on the Paris metro, well, it quickly spiraled into this epic personal history.
Okay, so just imagine this for a second. You're on your daily commute, maybe on the subway, and you see a face across the car. And you know you've seen that face before, but not in real life. No, you've seen it in a history textbook. It's from one of those old black and white photos of heroes from the French Resistance, the ones celebrated after World War II.
And what's just so wild is the detail. I mean, decades have passed, right? But the little things, the physical tells, they're still there. That slight tilt of the head, these kind of boyish features that even old age couldn't totally erase. It's so striking, so unmistakable, that our narrator just completely abandons his plans for the day and decides, I have to follow this ghost from history.
So he follows him, and he finally works up the nerve to strike up a conversation on a quiet street. And what he learns is, well, it's pretty strange. The man is on this very peculiar kind of pilgrimage. But he's not visiting a grave or a person or even a memory. He's systematically visiting all 39 streets in Paris that are named after fallen resistance fighters. What a strange, solemn mission, right?
You can imagine the narrator is just completely fascinated by this. So he invites him for a drink, and that's when this absolutely incredible story starts to pour out. And right from the get-go, we hit this massive contradiction, something at the very heart of who this man is.
Okay, get ready for this. The man is a prince, like an actual prince. He's a direct descendant of the sultans who ruled the Ottoman Empire for centuries. But here's the twist. His father rejected every single bit of that royal legacy. He didn't want a prince for a son. No way. He wanted a firebrand, a revolutionary who was going to go out and remake the world.
And this is where you can see just how serious his father was. He didn't just hope his son would be a rebel. He literally named him one. The man's name is Ossyane, and as you can see, that's the Turkish word for rebellion. I mean, wow. It's not just a name, is it? It's a destiny. It's a declaration of war against the old world, handed to him the day he was born.
So that begs the question, right? Why was his father so completely obsessed with rebellion? Well, to get that, we have to rewind the clock. We have to go back to the story of Ossyane's grandmother. And fair warning, it's a story of imperial collapse, of madness, and a massacre that would scar their family for generations to come.
And it all just happened so fast, like a flash. In 1908, Osyane's great-grandfather, the Sultan himself, is dethroned, and he takes his own life. His daughter, Osyane's grandmother, is the one who finds him, and the trauma of it just breaks her. She's driven permanently mad. The rest of the family flees, but they run right into the horrific Adana massacre of 1909, this wave of just awful sectarian violence.
Just try to imagine being born into that kind of chaos. Your grandfather, a deposed sultan, is gone. Your own mother is lost to madness. Your entire world is just defined by violence and the collapse of an empire. You can see how that kind of history didn't just shape Osyane's father, it forged him. It turned him into a man who was against, well, pretty much everything.
And this quote here really says it all. He wasn't just some political revolutionary, oh no. He was an insurgent against the entire fabric of society. To him, every institution, laws, religion, even money, was just a symptom of the broken world that had destroyed his family. So the father, he channels all this rebellious energy into one single project, his son, Ossyane. But here's the thing. While his father was busy dreaming of a grand revolution in the East, Ossyane was quietly, secretly, nurturing a very, very different dream for himself.
And this really gets to the heart of the conflict between them. The father, he wanted a new Napoleon, a new Lenin, someone to lead the East out of the darkness. But Ossyane? His heroes were guys like Pasteur and Charcot, scientists. He didn't want to lead armies, he wanted to heal minds. He wanted to understand the very kind of madness that had stolen his own grandmother.
So, when he moves to France for medical school, it's not just about getting an education. Not at all. For Ossyane, it's a full-on escape. This is his one chance to finally shed the crushing weight of his father's expectations and build a life that was actually his. And you better believe he was determined not to mess it up.
And to protect this new freedom, he basically builds a bubble around himself. He becomes a total political hermit. No debates, no newspapers, absolutely nothing that could pull him back into that world of revolution his father loved so much. His life was going to be about science, and that's it. Science alone.
So Ossyane builds this wall between his new life and the destiny his father had all mapped out for him. But, as he was about to find out, history has a funny way of knocking down walls, no matter how high you build them.
Yeah, despite his best efforts to stay out of it all, the world around him just explodes. It's 1940, France falls to the Nazis. And all of a sudden, avoiding politics isn't a choice anymore. It's impossible. The war came right to his doorstep.
The real turning point happens in a cafe. After months and months of just keeping his head down, Ossyane finally snaps. He gets into a political debate and just publicly humiliates a Vichy sympathizer. Well, that little outburst gets him noticed. He gets recruited into the resistance and is given the code name Baku. And isn't that just the ultimate irony? In a massive twist of fate, he becomes the very hero his father always wanted him to be. But it's for a cause that he chose on his own terms.
But this new life as a hero, it's dangerous. And it doesn't last long. A police raid forces him to go on the run. He has to flee to a safe house in Lyon. And with that, his dream of becoming a doctor is just gone. Forever. In an instant, the quiet medical student becomes a wanted fugitive.
It's in that safe house that he meets Clara. She's an Austrian Jew, and her entire family has been lost in the Holocaust. And just look at the tragic symmetry of this. You have Ossyane, a man whose future was stolen by the ghosts of his family's past. And you have Clara, a woman whose family was stolen by the brutal vision of history's future. They are two souls, both completely broken by the same war, just coming from opposite ends of history.
And that's where we're going to leave them for now, with this big question just kind of hanging in the air. For Ossyane and Clara, yes, survival is one thing, but trying to build a new life, one that's free from the ghosts of everything they've lost, well, that's another battle entirely. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Can any of us ever truly escape the history we were born into?